Well, good afternoon to everybody, and it's a good thing to see Chuck and Mary here, because I know Chuck had a difficult time with the virus, and God took good care of Mary. She didn't contract it, which is good, and her health stayed well. And that happened in my case. My wife never got it either. I did. But I just kind of want to these last 3 months have been somewhat trying for me, in the sense that, yes, I had the virus and went through that process, but it's when it comes close to you, normally when people you don't know and far away, it doesn't impact you. You're concerned, yes, but I had employees at work coming down with it, went from mild to severe. Friends, one especially, a dear friend of mine, a lady that she's 80. Her daughter, when she was 55, died of cancer. And her son, believe it or not, is 55, and COVID killed him. So it's kind of, it's trying for me. And also now here comes the feast. And we know every year when the feast comes, there's trouble. But have we ever seen trouble like this? And we really don't know where it's going to go. But it is trying. Bill, you're back. And that's where I want to turn to James 1:3, the Good News Bible. It says, "For you know that when your faith succeeds in facing such trials, the result is the ability to endure. Make sure that your endurance carries you all the way without failing, so that you may be perfect, complete, lacking nothing." Now, I think every one of us can say that our faith is tried in this. I know mine is. For many times, I've asked God, I know you can do it, Father. I know you can end this virus in a moment. It could just disappear. Begged, pleaded, but apparently, for you know that when your faith succeeds in facing such trials, the result is ability to endure. And I think each and every one of us could agree that we are going to endure this. I know there's some that may lose their faith or weaken it, because God is doing nothing. This virus is breaking out amongst the members of our church in congregations. As a matter of fact, Dwight Harrison is still in the hospital on a ventilator, showing some improvement, but he's still there. There have also been deaths in other congregations. The trying of your faith for the endurance, and that, as it says, make sure that your endurance carries you all the way without failing, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. And brethren, that's what I meant by the title, Looking Forward. There is something we are looking forward to, but we have to endure. And it says in Romans 8:28, "And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose for them." So I'm sure there's some out there saying, well, how could this virus be working for the good? Well, it's like when we started with the trying of your faith for the endurance. We have to endure through this. There is some good in it. We may not understand what it is, but God is working it. And it will appear, it will have fruit one day. And in Romans 8:18 it says, "Yet what we suffer now is nothing compared to the glory he will reveal to us later." So you're beginning to see that pattern there? Yes, this COVID thing is horrible. It's heartbreaking. But Yet we suffer through this. It's nothing compared to the glory he will reveal in us later. That's when we'll understand it. And that's what we have to be looking forward to. And then in Philippians 3:8, yes, everything else is worthless when compared with the infinite value of knowing Jesus Christ my Lord. For his sake I have discarded everything else, counting it all as garbage, so that I can gain Christ. Of course, we know and understand that this is Paul speaking, but you can apply it to your life today. You can apply it to what we're experiencing. You know, it's like he says, everything else is worthless when compared with the infinite value of knowing Christ Jesus. That's what I look to when I have my days where there's anxiety, there's some depression. But these are the words I turn to. These are the words that God gave me to lift me up. For knowing and understanding there's purpose for this. And that there is a time when this will all come into play. In Philippians 3:10, Paul states, I want to know Christ and experience the mighty power that raised him from the dead. I want to suffer with him, sharing in his death, so that one way or another I will experience the resurrection from the dead. You kind of see where this is leading? Yes, we're suffering trials, and hopefully it's building the endurance to get to here, so that one way or another I will experience the resurrection from the dead. That is our goal. That is what we live for. And we go through these horrible things. Not everything's horrible, but some are. This virus to me is a nightmare because of the suffering I see, because I've seen the face of this virus from asymptomatic to mild to severe to death. And yes, it strikes at my heart. But this, so that one way or another I will experience the resurrection from the dead. That's the goal. That's what I live for. Yes, my endurance is going to carry me to that point, and hopefully for you as well. Then in 1 Timothy 4:8, and now the prize awaits me, the crown of righteousness which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give me on the day of his return. And the prize is not just for me, but for all who eagerly look forward to his appearance. That's where we want to be. You can't give up. And I would not be surprised if there are some that have weakened, possibly have given up because why isn't God doing anything about this virus? We know he can end it. Do we need to pull at that pole with the brazen serpent like Moses did? I don't think so. There is a reason. It's the trying of our faith. It's creating that endurance because there are worse times coming. And we have to be tough to get through it. If we don't, I don't know what to tell you. And then finally, Revelation 26. Blessed and holy are those who share in the first resurrection. For them the second death has no power, but they will be priests of God and of Christ and will reign with him 1,000 years. That's the prize. That's why we are in God's church. That's why we suffer these things. But God has given us this knowledge. He has given us this promise. But it's a hard road to get there. But there's reason and purpose for it, because you have to be ready for it. So, brethren, I want to encourage each and every one of you, and I say this to myself as well. get through this. Even though anxiety and depression, people you know that are close to you may suffer terribly, possibly lose their life to this virus. But I would say, keep looking forward to that day when Jesus Christ returns and all of this will end.